big mess.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Oh, we're live.
Yeah.
Bro, I didn't know. Why didn't you tell me?
Oh well, because it's okay because I kept you muted while you were talking. I just unmuted myself, so it's all good.
That's right. Your mom knows.
All right.
Anyway.
All right, guys. Hey, how's it going?
How's it going?
Yo, what's good?
Not this movie.
Come on. Come
Already.
on. This is an instant classic, Dave.
Oh, man.
Classic.
You know it was classic.
We have... Oh, what?
CM Punk returns to WW. Or sorry. Oh shit, fucked up. Returns to AEW.
You have to edit that.
God, who cares?
Me and probably I don't know several million people.
Cool, man. This guy's been away from wrestling for how long? He's lost all his weight and all this other stuff.
7 years.
Yeah, he's not going to be the best in the world anymore.
He's going to be better than most.
I don't know.
Here, I got 2 words for you for somebody who's going to be better than him. You ready for this? Christian Cage.
Okay, I don't know where you were going with that, but
I'm just saying Christian Cage is infinitely older, came back, and this dude's already the champion of Impact Wrestling, and he's better than CM Punk.
Dang. Hot take.
Yeah, no.
Hey, Josh, did you watch the first episode of What If?
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah, with Captain
thoughts?
Carter.
Yeah, thoughts?
I thought to myself, why couldn't this actually be Captain America?
Yeah. Oh,
Hey, look,
why wasn't this canon?
Yeah, why isn't this for real, and why do I have to deal with fucking pussy-ass Steve Rogers? And I would tell you, I actually very much enjoyed the animation.
Yes, I did too.
Yep.
Dave, not so much.
I thought the animation was hit or miss for me. I prefer more I guess hand-drawn looking animation rather than the very obvious computer-generated animation.
Yeah, I will say this.
I don't know. Just the shit she was doing in this episode was pretty fucking badass.
It was good.
I would say this though, and me and David talked about it. I don't think it would make good for a podcast.
No.
'Cause essentially, you're just rehashing the whole movie that was Captain America.
The worst.
With a little bit of a variation, and it's all wrapped up in 30 minutes.
The worst.
Is the
MCU
second
movie.
episode up already? I forgot about it this week.
It probably is.
I looked
Yeah.
yesterday, I think it was, but it wasn't yesterday, so it might be up today. I can check while Dave gets everything situated.
Yep, I'm
All
good
right.
to
Hey,
go.
for all you YouTubers out there, so obviously tonight we're doing the number 88 movie on the AFI list, Bringing Up Baby, the
Instant
1938 classic.
classic.
Just be prepared for next week. We're going to do our second annual NFL bracket, where we're going to predict not only which teams are going to the playoffs, but bracket style. We're going to eliminate them to see who's going to win the motherfucking. Can we say Super Bowl?
Yeah, I think so.
Are we allowed to say who's going to win the Super Bowl?
We're allowed to say that.
Or do we have to say the big game?
Well, we can say the big game. We can also we also have to reiterate that we are not giving or offering gambling advice.
No. You can take this shit to the motherfucking bank.
No, you can't.
Next week, put your motherfucking mortgage on what we're going to tell you.
I'll definitely have a disclaimer in that episode.
Because last year,
the disclaimer is double down on your mortgage.
last year we almost got it. We almost nailed it last year.
I know.
Yeah, and then
We were
people
so
would have
close.
and people would have almost had gotten their money, but then they would have definitely been out of their houses.
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't have. They had a moratorium, Dave.
I just want to add, we were very, very hot on the Tampa Bay Buccaneers last year.
Yeah.
Up until the NFC Championship, and then we thought the Packers were going to bring it home, but we lost that one. We were close.
And we did the hot take that New England would not make the playoffs, and that the Browns would, and the Browns would get a win. I think is what we predicted.
Yes, and they did both of those things.
Yeah.
So
I
just
mean,
saying.
not to toot our own horn or pat ourselves on the back, but big dick swinging.
Yeah. We liked Buffalo. Buffalo did well, although not as well. They did let us down I think.
Didn't we have them winning the Super Bowl?
We had them going to the Super Bowl, but the Chiefs took them out. And look, we had both of our teams made it to their conference championship game, so we didn't do bad by any means. We were very close.
Yeah, for considering that we made the prediction before the first game of the season ever started.
Yep. So Josh is right. Take this to the bank, but don't say that don't actually do that though.
Make that money, baby. Make that money. Take out a loan right now.
Stop. Please
Make
don't.
it rain.
Buy you a jet ski. Hashtag Mobius for life.
Josh, you're going to be going. This is another sidebar while we get ready for the great podcast to come. We're doing the Metalhead's Journey, and there's two things I want to talk about on this. But the first part is you're going to be seeing Megadeth because we're venturing on the Megadeth road right now on our Metalhead's Journey, and you're about to see them live for the first time ever.
Yeah, tomorrow night.
And I showed you the set list, or at least the one that they played the other night, and that's a pretty stellar set list if they do something similar.
Look, Tornado of Souls. Just as we've gone through the first 5 or now 10 albums, I haven't got all the way through the 10th album just yet. But as we're going through the early albums, Tornado of Souls has become like my favorite Megadeth song. Super happy they're fucking playing that song live.
I mean, they're opening with Hangar 18, Tornado of Souls. They're closing the show with Holy Wars. I mean,
I listened to the 3 songs from Dystopia that are on here. So the Dystopia, Conquer or Die, and then I can't remember the last song.
Oh, just so you get ready for the live show?
Yeah.
So and that's their most recent record, right?
Yeah.
So how does that compare to some of the middle tier, like the tier that we're on right now of their albums?
Look, here's what I tell you. Based on the strength of those 3 songs right now, Dystopia is already the second best Megadeth album.
Like straight up, like no joke.
Hold on, I got to look at what song this is because I need you to listen to this song sooner rather than later.
Okay.
Because it's fucking good.
So do they get back to form basically? Like is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. This the song you need to listen to is called "The Threat Is Real."
Okay. I will check that out.
Let me tell you a story. My fucking boner was real when I was listening to that song, bro.
All right. So this is another thing we're going to be doing in addition to the Metalhead's Journey. So when we complete that journey, when we go through Megadeth, Slayer, Anthrax, and then Metallica, we're done with that. So the 3 of us and our buddy Adrian are going to go through. I've compiled a list, and don't worry. I'm sure we'll tell this again as it gets closer to it. But compiled a consensus list of the top 50 greatest heavy metal albums of all time using several different publications that have put out their own lists. So I've compiled all those, gotten the average placing of every album. Kind of set some requirements on, it has to show up on at least 4 of the list to qualify to kind of hit our list. And I just put that in order. And so as of right now, we have the list of the 50 greatest metal albums of all time. And we'll be going through that similar to how we're doing with the AFI Top 100 movies. So, it's obviously it's not the AFI Top 50 metal albums of all time, but it's about as close as I can get with the data that's out there, and everybody of note that has put out a top 50 list. These aren't just random guy on the internet lists, right? Like I tried to get some credible sources to this, and
Dave had to be extra because we had a publication called Rolling Stone. Maybe you've heard of it. And they had a top 100 metal list already built, but Dave was like, "No, dude,
this list sucks.
We gotta calculate some data."
Yeah, so I did that. I put in that work. Let me see if I can just while nobody watches these videos anyway. So let me see if I can just pull this up here. I just want to give y'all an idea, a peek behind the curtain here, of how many bands actually ended up, how much data I ended up having to manually do. Let me see if I can. Let's see if
Jason, are you alive?
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh,
Let's see.
That Megadeth song you were talking about earlier, is that on a new record or something?
yeah, it's their newest album.
Oh, okay. I just want the record to state that I hate Megadeth.
Yeah, you do.
Listen, I'm definitely going to be more of a fan of Megadeth once we complete these 15 albums, but I mean, God, they got some fucking shitty albums.
Yeah. Let's see here.
I was listening to the song on Risk called Breadline the other day, and I was telling this dude I work with, I was like, because he's into metal and stuff, and I was like, oh yeah, man, we're doing this Megadeth thing, and check out this song, and I turned it on. He's like, wow, that sounds like a Diet Coke version of fucking Guns N' Roses. And now all I can see in my head is Dave Mustaine doing the crab walk that Axl Rose does on fucking stage. Like that's all I see in my head every time I hear this fucking song.
Yeah.
By the way, it's probably one of the 10 worst songs I've ever heard in my life.
It's not that serious. It's not good.
Yes, it is.
All right.
Tell me 9 songs that are worse.
Like
Go.
Go? Yeah.
Now.
I don't think I could do it. Yeah, so as you can see, like it's really shitty on the YouTube video, but I'll just cover Jason's face a little bit. It's no big deal. So those are kind of the top albums so far with their bands. You kind of have the sources there, average score, number of sources. So that's the general idea there.
That's it. Yeah.
And yeah, so we'll be going through that. Like I said, probably don't have an exact time frame, but I would say at some point in the next 4 to 6 months, probably we'll be hitting that up. So
Nice.
we like to think really far in advance when it comes to content. At this point,
Yeah. Give me 30 seconds. I'll be right back.
all right. So
Countdown.
yeah, no, yeah, man. So
To extinction.
Uh-huh.
So let me just tell you, Jason. So
Bring it on, Dave.
And,
Tell me
and,
something.
and the
Who cares
so-
about them?
so just take a guess on how many albums of all right now I pulled from 7 different sources to make this list.
So how many different bands?
How many different albums out of all the 7 sources did I are total in here? Just wild guess.
Well, if it's a top 50, there's 50, Dave.
Nope. No.
Alright.
That's after I filter it on the albums that show up on on
Dave,
4 lists.
you asked me how many do you think's on this list? I said
Yeah,
50.
no. How many did I compile? Like how
Oh.
many? Yeah, total.
Well, I mean, if it was 100, if most of them had 100, you probably ended up with, say, 135.
233.
Okay, well, that's only
All
100.
right. Here we go. Bring it up, baby. Everybody ready?
Let's do this.
Unfortunately,
Let's do it.
Instant classic.
all right. So
Hello, and welcome to Three Guys and a Mic presents a comprehensive review of the American Film Institute's top 100 films of all time. Number 88, Bringing Up Baby. I'm your co-host, the Human Dart, along with
Jason Tsunami.
and David Disaster.
Heyo.
Hey, man. How's
Another
everybody
week.
doing?
Listen, does this smell like fucking shit in here to anybody else, or is that just me?
Look, I just want to. I want to know. I want to know in the Three Guys and a Mic penthouse suite that we have, who didn't flush the toilet because
Oh my
it is
God.
overflowing
With turds.
With bullshit.
with bringing up baby.
Oh. Listen, I had this. I told Dave this earlier today. Is I had this plan, right? And I tried to set in motion when I texted you guys yesterday, where I was like, "Hey, man, movie's really good.
Yeah.
Anyway, watch it yet? Nobody else has seen it yet. So I was like, all right, I'll wait. I'll hatch my plan and I'll wait.
Okay, wait. So before you tell the whole story, I'm going to intervene at some point during this so we could tell you what was simultaneously happening with me and Dave.
Yeah. So my plan was, because I tend to, even though I guess I give like the worst scores a lot of times, I tend to like a lot of the movies that we do, like Yankee Doodle Dandy. I liked Swing Time. It's like some of the older movies. Like I find them pretty fun. And so I was like, I'm watching this movie, and I don't want to give too much away here, but it fucking sucks. Okay?
That's not giving much away, huh?
Yeah. It sucks. And so I'm watching this, and I'm like, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. Because I know if I don't like this, Dave and Jason are definitely not going to like this in particular, because it's not just like a genre thing that I don't like. Like, this movie sucks. Okay? And so I was like, but I'm going to make them think that I love this fucking movie. And I'm going to ride this wave all the way until we get to the shit-o-meter, and then I was going to drop the hammer on them. But man, I couldn't even choke it down long enough to fucking make anybody think I like this fucking movie. Like, I called Dave earlier, and I'm like, oh, fuck.
Okay, so before you called Dave called me. He's like, bro, I still got like 30 minutes to go in this movie. I don't know if I can finish watching this. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. I wanted to try and watch part of it work, but the only place I could get it that I have subscription to is Vudu, and it won't let me rent movies on my phone. So I'm like, God damn, now I'm going to have to go home and watch this shit. And so me and Dave were like, did you see Josh's text message? And he's like, yeah.
So
and I was like, we can't, look, I said, Dave, you can't let this influence your score.
Yeah, no, I told, man, so like I told Jason, I was like, man, this motherfucker Josh is gonna like, this dude goes into these movies and he's just able to just turn his brain off and enjoy this shit, and like I can't fucking do it, like, and like he's gonna be so mad. He's gonna, dude. I was seriously getting anxiety, and I was telling Jason, I was like, Josh is gonna think that we just fucking team up on him. That we just talk before the podcast and just be like, oh, we're gonna tell Josh likes this movie. We're gonna shit on this movie, like, because I'm like, I don't want another Yankee Doodle Dandy. Like I'm just like,
all-time great.
And I'm just
all-time great movie.
I literally tell Jason, I'm like, man, I might just have to give it like a better score than I normally would, just so Josh doesn't have a problem with this shit, dude. Like,
and I was like, Dave.
Jason was like, look, Jason was like, look, you can't compromise your review just because you don't want to hurt Josh's feelings. And I'm like, man, like if I'm Josh, like Josh is just like, you know, he's just going through and enjoying these movies, and I'm over here like, this movie fucking blows. And then of course, you know, Josh just said it, like, Josh calls me and he's like, hey man, so you finish up this movie? And I couldn't even hold back. I was like, you know, he goes, have you seen it? I was like, I've seen about I've got about 30 minutes, 25 minutes left. He's like, do you like it? And I was like, no, dude, I don't. I fucking hate it. And he starts laughing, and he's like, damn it, man. Yeah, this movie fucking sucks. And yeah, so I guess that's a good enough a segue as any. Jason, you want to give a quick synopsis, and we can get right into the shit-o-meter scores?
All right, let's do this. All right, bringing up Baby. The 1938, or 39, right?
Classic.
38
romantic comedy that follows our friendly paleontologist, David Huxley, played by Cary Grant, as he attempts to secure a $1 million donation for his museum. On the day before his wedding, no less, Huxley meets the psycho chick from fucking hell, Susan Vance, as she literally attempts to sabotage his fucking life for her own personal wants and desires, and leads him on a madcap adventure. The ever-growing chaos, including a missing dinosaur bone, a pet leopard, a lost wedding, a dog that won't shut the fuck up, threatens to push him over the edge.
Jason, I think we need to include a new category in the shitties for best recap, because that is an instant classic recap.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
It is.
I don't think I've ever appreciated a recap more than that.
I appreciated that recap more than a movie.
Oh, definitely. So here are a couple stats real quick. So Bringing Up Baby came out in 1938. This movie was made on a budget of $1.1 million.
That's too much.
This movie made at the box office also $1.1 million.
You know what they would call that today?
A flop.
A flop.
A flop.
So the next sentence on my recap here. This movie was generally regarded as a flop.
Wow.
That was the actual feeling at that time. This was not nominated for any Oscars.
Wow.
This movie won it. Okay, hold on, Dave. Save that question. That's an important question, but save it. This movie started gaining traction in the 50s while it was being rerun on TV, on cable. By the 60s, it had emerged as one of the best, this is not me saying this is just quoted, it had emerged as one of the best screwball comedies of all time and is generally regarded as being the first screwball comedy. So as we know, with the AFI ranking, they did an initial AFI Top 100 list, and they did a 10-year anniversary edition. So you can see some fluctuation of movies from list to list. Some added, some fell off, some changed. So this movie on the initial list was 97. So somehow in 10 years, this movie ascended 9 spots. I don't understand. So Dave, ask your question.
Why is this movie on this list?
That's a fucking great question. So when we started this thing, that was one of the things that we kind of talked about, right? Was what's the criteria for being nominated to this list? So, there was 6 different things. Some being technical aspects, some being just major award winners, general success as far as box office, social impact.
Are they attempting to say that this, as what they would consider the first screwball comedy, is what got it on the list?
That is the only answer I can come up with. Like I actually went through. It's funny. I don't know why I never even thought about this, but there's a lot of other people in the world that have done what we are doing already with their own version of breaking down this list. And brother, every single person I read or looked at hates this fucking movie. I did not find one person in any of my attempts going down Google and trying to find why this would that even liked this movie. But the only thing I can think is because it's generally regarded as being that first screwball, first romantic comedy, right?
Would you think this qualifies? I mean, there's no way for us to intelligently answer this, but I wonder, is this considered maybe one of the first cult classics, meaning a movie that wasn't a hit when it was released, but then gained traction later? So another one I can think of that's much more recent would be Napoleon Dynamite, whereas that movie came out in theaters, if you remember, in the early 2000s, did almost nothing, and then became super culturally impactful. All the memes and everything that came after that when it came out to rent at Blockbuster.
That's possible. I don't know. I think it just has to be because it's generally deemed as being the first screwball comedy, and it's one of the 4 movies that you have together. And I think the movie tends to like these prestigious mashups, right? Where you had Fred Astaire and years ago, where they did 10 movies together.
Hey, real quick, Josh, before we get too far, I just wanted to let you know your audio is going out and periodically there.
Oh, it's cutting in and out?
Yeah.
Slightly.
Yeah, just before we get too far, I just wanted to give you an opportunity to correct that if you can. So while you're doing that, Josh, I don't want to waste too much time here. I'm going to go ahead and start with my shit-o-meter score and kind of small reason as to why. There's really no other reason to say it, but so I kind of bounced around a lot on what I wanted to give this movie, but ultimately I had to be honest with myself. Would I ever want to watch this movie again? No. Would I ever recommend this to anybody? No. Did I think this movie had any real redeeming qualities? No. I don't think it was the worst movie ever made, so my score kind of reflects that. But I'm going with an 86.
Dang.
I think this movie is not good. I think this movie is incredibly dated. And I guess we'll talk about that later. But specifically as a comedy, like it didn't make me laugh. So I feel like because it didn't make me laugh, it failed at what its one job was as a comedy. So 86 for me.
Yeah.
Are you want me to go or you want to go?
This is just more of a test. Am I cutting in and out, or am I good right now?
You're good right now.
Okay.
All right. I'll go.
Go ahead.
With no need to beat this thing to death. We upended the intro to our podcast so we could talk about how much this movie sucked. I think this is a prime reason on why we're doing this list, right? Because the whole mission statement of this was we want to actually see if these movies are as good as they say they are.
Correct.
Right? Are they as entertaining as what the list would say? I think the answer for really for the first time is fuck no.
Yeah, I think this movie, I'm just going off a prediction, and I don't mean to interrupt you, Josh, but like Sophie's Choice is right now the lowest point that we've seen. This movie makes, for me, the more I think about it, makes Sophie's Choice look like Sophie's Choice. I think belongs on this list to a degree. Go ahead with your score, but this movie, to add to your point, this movie does not.
Yeah, I'm gonna come in with a 90. This is one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life, and it's so cringy, and I hate cringe comedy. Like I was telling Dave this earlier, like I can't watch Steve Carell on The Office. It just gives me the fucking heebie-jeebies, and like this whole movie is cringe.
Yeah. All right, so I went into this.
I'm sorry, Fossil. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt you. I apologize. But just for those folks out there, because we're doing a bad job of really setting up what this podcast is here. Our shitometer is our proprietary rating system for every movie that we do. The lower the score, the better. So, like this movie getting a 90 and an 86 right now means this is absolute fucking diarrhea shit.
Yeah,
Yes.
So it's called the shitometer, and yeah, Josh, good call. We didn't do a good job of explaining it prior, as we might have done in a few other podcasts. But it's the percent of shit that we think is in the movie, right? Obviously, it's tongue in cheek, but that's basically the gist of it, right? So
Correct.
the higher the worst, the lower the better. It generally speaking, anything that averages less than a 50, we would consider it a recommend. We're pretty harsh with our scores, so even something that gets like in the 40s or 30s, we would consider that to be a good movie and something we would recommend. Anything kind of higher in the 20s on down is kind of reaching that classic territory. Yeah. So to Josh's point, anything that's getting this high, or however you want to look at it, low of a score, is not good at all, based on our previous ratings. So
yeah,
go ahead, Jason.
No, go ahead. So this movie, I had a very hard time forcing myself to just continue to watch it, because there's just so much that I hate about the way this movie just is portrayed. Like your leading man is about the weakest leading man you could possibly portray on a movie. The woman is dumber than I would say like Jessica Simpson is in some of the reality TV shows that you've seen, where you're like, there's no way she's that dumb. And this girl was dumber. The premise of this whole movie that it's based on is just based on a wild animal. And
so
to
fucking bad.
something that Dave said earlier. So I went into this going, okay, so this is a comedy. So I took a tally of how many times I actually laughed. It was once. Only one time, and that's when our lead opens the bathroom door because he doesn't believe there's a jaguar inside, and a leopard. He opens the bathroom door, and there is a leopard on the counter, and his reaction made me laugh. And that was it. That was the only time I actually laughed out loud, and that was the only time that I even like cracked a smile.
Yeah.
So, being a romantic comedy, I think it failed on two points. One, it wasn't
not
funny,
romantic.
and yeah, two, this wasn't a romance. This was this woman sabotaging this guy's entire life, destroying his car, ruining his golf game, ruining his chance to get this $1 million,
For his
ruining his wedding.
museum.
Yeah, ruining his wedding. And then in the end of the movie, she destroys what he's been working on for 4 years. And he's just like, oh, I love you too. I wanted to vomit. And so even after saying all that, my score is an 87.
Okay. So
It's so funny. We've been so close to each other recently on these scores.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's an aggregate score, combined score of 87.7%. It handedly takes the cake as the worst movie, the shittiest. You're good, Jason. That's correct. I should have said that. The shittiest movie we have reviewed thus far, by a lot. Just for the audience sake and for our own sake, I'll give you the bottom five. The bottom five worst reviewed movies we've done so far in order. So it's Bringing Up Baby, which is the shittiest. We have Sophie's Choice. Then we have The Last Picture Show. Then we have Swing Time. And then we have Yankee Doodle Dandy.
That's bullshit.
I'll say this: it's unfortunate that a lot of those movies are as
the
old
older,
as they are.
yeah,
because it makes it feel like we're being biased, and it's just not that. It's just that, and we talked about this a little bit earlier, Dave. With a comedy, the problem with comedy movies is the fact that they usually use something that's funny in the time.
Well, humor in general is very dated. It's very planted in the time period that it is from.
Correct. So something that was apparently hilarious.
Well, no, this wasn't. This was a flop. This was not even.
Yes, this was somebody thought it was funny. Somebody thought it was funny in the 30s.
This took 20 years to really gain recognition. It didn't win its first award until 1990.
But I do want to point out, for anybody who might say, like, we don't like old movies, I want to point out that one of our higher reviewed movies is Ben-Hur.
It's just not as old as these other movies.
No, but I just want to make that clear that we actually really, and if I could go back and give it a better rating than what I did, I might.
What about Yankee Doodle Dandy, Dave?
Nope, that movie is hot trash. But
fuck you.
But that movie,
fuck you, Dave. That movie is not hot trash. Take it back.
Okay, it's not hot trash because we just saw hot trash. To be fair, Josh, Yankee Doodle Dandy scored 20 points higher for me than this movie. I mean,
it should have been 40 points higher.
I mean, okay. So, yeah. So,
hey, favorite scenes. Does anybody have any? I do. I have a favorite scene.
It's like,
go
ahead.
I have two scenes. So for me, the first scene where David and Susan meet on the golf course, I did find that scene humorous, where she's playing his golf ball and he's like, yo, what the fuck? Like, why are you playing my golf ball? It's just kind of the start of the whole thing. I thought that was pretty funny.
Serious question.
Hit me.
You or Dave are in the role of Dave. David, whatever his name, Huxley.
Yeah.
Huxley.
And you see this girl get into your car and back it into a tree and then rip off the bumper and then back up and hit the other bumper. She's destroying your car.
Yeah.
Please tell me how that conversation goes.
What?
Get the fuck out of my car.
Why are the keys in the car?
How did he not?
It's the 30s.
How did he not? How is he unable to convey the fact that you are driving my fucking car?
Regardless of what, I mean, like, dude, like, how does this movie even fucking happen? Like, this bitch, sorry, she's just like, she's instantly falling in love with this man and trying to break up his fucking marriage. Dude, this is not a romantic comedy. This is a fucking horror movie.
It is, dude. This chick is that chick that everybody's like your friends are like, bro, she's crazy.
Dude, like they made it. If you take the same story of this movie
and put it to Psycho in the background,
dude, like, this is a horror movie. Wasn't there a movie that was like shit remind it's
Swim
like
Fan or something?
Yeah, it's like fucking Basic Instinct or whatever the fuck it is. Some other fucking movie like that, like where it's just a crazy chick. And like she's even talking to, I don't even know, dude.
Do you guys have any other favorite scenes?
Okay, so
no,
I do on this movie nonstop.
I do like the golf scene when he's like, Mr. Peabody, I'll be right there. Just wait.
I'll be right with you.
And it's like, no,
as he drives off.
yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
And then so
the scene in the restaurant is okay, like where like, you know, they got the purse.
He tears his jacket.
Oh yeah, that.
Oh my god.
The jacket and the purse and like, dude, she's
and then he rips her dress.
Yeah.
Oh, just like she's so
You get to see
obnoxious.
Katharine Hepburn's fine ass.
Yeah, and instead of just him saying your dress is ripped, they just go on to this just
Never ending fucking
Yes.
no.
It's just like I felt.
I have a worse scene.
I felt sorry for him because I felt like screaming at the television. I'm trying to think of a scene that I liked.
Do we even talk? Is least favorite scene a category? If not, I can.
You know what? Maybe we need to do that. If the movie's going to score a certain number on the shitometer, maybe we need to alternate to least favorite scene.
Okay.
I have one other good scene before you drop that one, and it's just the end of the movie where the constable is constantly trying to figure out who everybody is that's in the cages, and he keeps calling back to the house, and the aunt's like, no, Susan's already asleep. And then they call it back, and the maid is like, "No, the aunt's definitely asleep already."
Yeah, stop calling her.
So I thought that was pretty funny too.
I would say that part that might have been the best scene, just the jail scene. I do not understand. Like, I do not understand. I'm pretty sure at that point I realized that this chick is actually crazy and like schizophrenic, schizophrenic or something, or she got multiple personalities when she turns into a gangster.
Dude,
do it, Dave.
That's my least favorite scene. Okay, because and I'm gonna do the fucking voice that she does when she's like, the fucking cops are talking to her.
Yeah, coppers. See?
And she's like, yeah, see, I lead a gang. See, I work with the leopards. And then he's like, oh yeah, the leopards. We're gonna get that gang. I'm gonna lock them all in the slammer. And it's like, and she's like, yeah, see, no, this is what you got to do. And you just give me a cigarette.
Hey, you think you can open a window? It's kind of stuffy in here.
And yeah, I gotta do what I gotta do. You see, I've gotta let me out of jail. And then fucking David is just sitting in the goddamn jail cell. He's like, bitch, what the fuck is going on? And then she's just walking away with the cops like, dude, I'm like so over this fucking movie. And
all right, well, let's keep on going.
Hold on.
So she breaks out of jail and she goes and gets the crazy leopard.
Yeah, dude, like, talk about this. There's a scene that made me uncomfortable because I feel like when the camera stopped rolling, this dog got eaten, and that's the scene. And that's
They're supposedly playing.
Yeah, dude, and it's very clear the dog is actually fighting the leopard.
And the leopard is got his like declawed, defanged, and
like tranquilized because this dog is like showing its fangs like and like fucking trying to eat this fucking leopard. I was like, dude, this dog dies off screen.
I was watching it. I was making my wife sit in there and watch it with me, and I said, they're not that
dog is
actually
not
just
playing.
attacking that cat.
That is not fucking.
After the scene's over and the dog's been eaten, they're like, cut. That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Fucking get another dog out of the crate. Fucking get
that
him
was
out of
the final scene because they knew they weren't going to have the dog anymore for the rest of the movie.
Dog is eaten. Oh my god, that's the best scene ever.
All right, hey, so favorite characters.
I'm gonna pick David because I feel sorry for him. I feel sorry that he had to go through all of that. He's got my same name, so he gets another little point there. So, yeah, that's it. I mean, there's nothing
Jason?
else to say.
It's hard for me to pick either of these main characters as a favorite because I hate both of them for
Different reasons.
I'm gonna go with the aunt, Aunt Rutabaga or whatever the fuck her name was. Robson or whatever.
Yeah, it's definitely not Rutabaga. Oh shit! This movie fucking blows. Oh my god, dude.
What was her name?
I hope somebody from the AFI list doesn't turn in here for like the first one. Like, oh, let me see what they think about that, and we're just fucking.
Dude, I hope they do. I hope they do so they can feel ashamed.
Well, look, I pick her because she's the only one that was keeping it real for what seemed like the eternity of this movie. She was like, "You're not marrying this crazy motherfucker. Who is this? Yeah. What are you doing?"
I genuinely want someone that's in the AFI list that chose this movie to explain to me not why it deserves to be on there. I want them to explain to me that they like this movie.
Yeah.
Like, did you enjoy this movie? Like, I don't care why you put it on here.
Are you in stitches the entire time, just rolling around?
Do you actually think this is funny? Does your family like this movie? I'm sorry, I'm getting way too personal, but it's just.
God damn, Dave.
Like, I'm offended that they even thought anyone liked this movie.
Look.
Oh I'm dumbfounded. Dude, we're going nonstop about how bad this movie is. Okay.
I'm just dumbfounded that it's ahead of the movie that we watched last week.
All right, Josh.
Okay. Hey, favorite character. Because every character in this movie sucks, I'm going with Baby the Leopard.
Which one? The crazy one or the nice one?
So, yeah, the same leopard played both leopards in the movie.
He's diverse. He's the best actor in this fucking movie.
Exactly. So I thought it was a good acting job because one, it definitely acts very tame and is purring, and the other one definitely appeared to be pretty wild.
Yeah, or pretty pissed off with what they did.
Yeah. For the Roy Batty Award for overacting, I went with Katharine Hepburn, Susan.
Yeah, she's my.
I know she would go on to have big roles and be
she had a long career.
Yeah,
but I hated this character.
Okay.
Yeah. What's least fave?
So my least favorite character is Baby because if Baby didn't exist, then this movie wouldn't. So
come on, bruh.
The movie's bringing up Baby. There's no Baby. There's nothing to bring up, and the movie doesn't happen. So. No, I mean that was just my fun choice. I mean it's Susan, like it's fucking hands down, like it's
gonna be Dr. Grant or Huxley.
Carrie
Dr.
Grant?
David Huxley for me, simply because
he lets this happen to himself.
I just don't remember watching a movie in which like the leading male was just such a wuss, just so I don't know, just so. I don't even know how to describe it. I mean, it's just, I feel sorry for the man.
Yeah.
I'll say this. These are my exact words to my wife when this movie ended, or when it got close to the end. I looked at her and I said, you know what? She better be like the best sex in the fucking world.
Oh my God.
Because
all right.
deal with that on a day-to-day basis.
Are you talking about the character Susan, not Catherine
Yes.
Hepburn.
Yeah, not Katharine Hepburn.
Okay.
I'm talking about the character. I'm talking about movie.
All right.
Yeah. My least favorite character is George the dog. Because, bruh, shut the fuck up.
Oh.
Dude, that motherfucker would not stop barking, and I wanted to fucking die.
Yes.
All right. Hey, what's aged well about this movie? I would say one of the things I think is pretty impressive about the movie is the level of which the animals were trained.
Or tranked.
Well, I mean, look, they're like the leopard. I mean, to Dave's point, like if the leopard didn't exist and the movie wouldn't exist, and that would be great. But that was impressive. Like the fact that on command could do both roles. I thought that was pretty cool. And then I just think we're on a good run here of a few movies, not in a row, but within a small group here, where at least we have a good, strong female lead in the movie, regardless of what your feeling is about Katharine Hepburn in the movie.
Yeah, no, she is the centerpiece of the movie.
Yeah, and it's just nice because we had the whole shitties where
the first
for
one
that last set of movies, where there was 1 or 2 females total, whereas now, I mean, we have Ginger Rogers, we got Katharine Hepburn, and I'm sure we're going to come across a couple more here in the next couple of movies that we're doing.
Yeah. I don't have anything that really aged well. I'm going to be honest.
I'll say the God, I'm reaching here, but I'm going to go with the camera tricks that they used in the film when the leopard was on screen.
Yeah, the Katharine Hepburn. There's actually the scene where she's pulling the leopard into the police station.
Yeah, there's 2 ropes on that cat.
Well, yeah, there's. I guess they just spliced the film, right? So on the left side,
there's a trainer like on the other side, like that.
Where Katharine Hepburn actually is.
Well, yeah, I don't know which way it's going, but her rope is going forward, and there's another rope that's going off to the side that is actually cat still.
Yeah, it's basically was filmed 2 different times. Once with Katharine Hepburn and once with a trainer, and they spliced it. So yeah, they're not going to actually have the star of the movie like pulling a wild animal. So
yeah, so I mean, I felt like that aged.
Hey man, they didn't have computers, so
yeah,
they literally had to.
I know when Cary Grant is on the chair, there's a glass or plexiglass of some kind between him and the animal. You can barely see.
Yeah.
But again, look, we're talking about late 1930s. You can barely see it, and it was probably very well done for the time.
So one thing that they didn't, this is kind of aged poorly, but it's something I just thought about because we're talking about these animals, is whenever the truck full of like chickens or ducks or both crashed, like I rewound it like a couple of times just to be sure.
All real chickens.
Those were real animals that they just fucking like threw on the ground. Like and like you watch it and there is
think about it.
There is like the first row of chickens or ducks or whatever that fucking slam into the ground and everything falls on them. Like there is no way that multiple of those animals didn't either get injured or died.
Bro, they had chicken on the set.
But I mean, there's no way that those all those animals survived that. I don't think so.
It's funny when you say stuff like that because we watch the same thing. I was like, okay. I mean, because you don't think about that nowadays because you know that, well, we take for granted that you're always going to get that disclaimer. No animals are harmed in filming.
Well, I mean, that's filmed today. Like, that's all CGI, right? Like, that's they're not going to fucking pull chickens out there. You know what I mean? Like, but they had no choice. They didn't think about it back then. They didn't give a fuck. So
can we skip Aged Poorly? I think we've covered it.
Yeah, I agree. Let's go to rewatchable. The answer is no.
Well, when I think about it, hell no.
No.
Look, here's the good news: is we're through this movie, and at least we've gone through 12 other movies. before coming across really like the first, like I think like real fucking like stinker of the bunch.
Yeah. You know,
I think we've had plenty of good surprises.
Yeah, so you know, just on that note, coming up, I'll just go over the next 5 movies that we have. I think they all are relatively promising here.
The 12
next
Angry Men is supposed to be good.
12 Angry Men. Josh and I, and I think Jason as well, are very much into courtroom. Now I know this isn't strictly a courtroom drama, but it's basically a courtroom drama. We're Josh and I are very big into those. We got Platoon, which is a war movie, and I've seen bits and pieces of that in the past, but I know that is obviously a very popular movie. We have a night at the opera. That'd be the only one that I'm not sure about. Well, I mean, obviously I've heard of the play. You know, it's very popular.
I've been to the play.
Oh, okay. So you probably have an idea what to expect. We have Easy Rider.
Well, when you say you've been to the play, A Night at the Opera, I don't think that's the same thing as the Phantom of the Opera.
Oh,
I have no idea. I don't
you know what?
think it
That's
is.
a good call. I might have been. You might be right. I might be mistaken that, Josh.
Yeah, I went to Phantom of the Opera.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So Easy Rider. I believe
Supposed to be good.
that is with Dennis Hopper. And
I think isn't Harrison Ford in that?
No.
no,
Is
I
he
don't.
not?
I don't think so.
No, I don't think so.
And then Titanic. And I've seen Titanic. Wherever you are. Okay.
Bring Miley Cyrus, please.
Yeah. Why do you always just say her middle name? That kind of bothers me for some reason. And yeah, so that's the next 5 movies that we'll be doing. You know, we're on pace, guys. We're averaging. We did Loki, so that kind of slowed us down, but we average about 2 movies a month here. So I think those next 5. I don't think we're gonna get to them all this year. Probably not. So, but we'll get to them as fast as we can. Yeah, some exciting movies. The next set.
Looking forward to the next one for sure.
The next set of 5, not as promising. I won't go over them right now, but yeah, not as promising. Yeah, that is the movie review.
And check us out next week. We're going to have our second annual NFL bracket, where we're going to not only tell you who's going to be in the playoffs, but we're going to tell you who to bet on for the Super Bowl.
Who to pretend bet with not real money.
Yep. Take out a big loan.
Yeah. In the meantime, live long and prosper.